The global halal economy is booming, and for businesses that comply with Muslim principles, the opportunities are huge, whether it's in fashion or travel, food or finance. The world's Muslims total about 1.7 billion, but the growth rate is double that of the global population. So let's take a look at the money behind the figures. Muslim consumer spending on food and lifestyle hit $1.8 trillion in 2014 and is set to reach $2.6 trillion by 2020. The Islamic finance market was estimated to be worth nearly $2 trillion, and that's projected to rise to a massive $3.2 trillion. So promising numbers, but what's the reality on the ground in terms of development? Let's bring in the Chief Executive Officer of the Dubai Islamic Economic Development Center, Abdullah Mohammed Al Awar. Nice to have you on Marketplace Middle East.
Thank you.
Let's look, $75 trillion global GDP today, and we're looking at approximately $2 trillion in overall spending. But what is the promise in terms of growth?
Well, the potential, John, is huge. As you have seen in the figures yourself, we feel the Islamic economy sectors are not limited only to Muslim-dominated markets or to the Muslim consumers alone. The uptake is visible also from the non-Muslim consumer base.
Now, people think of this economy in terms of hospitality, fashion, and food. Let's just take food as an example of how multinationals and homegrown players are adapting their strategies.
Food, or the halal certified sector, is a core component of the Islamic economy. The participants, let's say, in the whole value chain is not only Muslim institutions or Muslim investors, but also the non-Muslim investors. They have realized the potential that the halal sector has provided them, so that's why they're investing in producing halal products.
Under the Sadia brand name, Brazilian food giant BRF has been exporting to a dozen Middle Eastern countries for decades. With demand for its halal frozen poultry products growing, it decided to drop anchor in the region and set up its first factory in Abu Dhabi back in 2014.
Here is a good location to distribute to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, that are our main markets. Of course, UAE and Oman are important as well.
Sadia's chickens are all raised, slaughtered, and packaged according to Islamic law. But like any other food company, it's after a much wider audience. What are we looking at coming off the product line here?
So this is one line that is breaded line, and we are producing here, it's we call chicken popcorn. That is a new line that we have is for kids.
They have an eye-popping 60% of the region's market share, and they're not stopping there.
It's quite good. We have been increasing our production a lot. The market is accepting our products very well, so the idea is grow and grow more and more in the next years.
That's a snapshot of the food industry. We often talk about finance. We're in the financial center, as a matter of fact. How about fashion? Let's bring in Alia Khan. She's the head of the Islamic Fashion and Design Council.
How are you?
Seems to be a craze. Is it starting to pick up an energy? Are people starting to understand the potential of this sector?
You know, I think the craze was always there. It's just that people didn't recognize it. Look, it's not like the population was any less or the commitment to this way of life was any less. It's just that with the internet age, we got into social media pages, we got into blogging, we got into telling people how we looked and how we put things together, and the selfie didn't hurt us much either.
I would imagine.
So as a result, you know, you would go to H&M and find a great pair of trousers. You would then go off to the next store and see a great scarf. You'd put it together and say, wow, what a great ensemble. I actually look hip and stylish and cool while staying within my faith-based principles. And that is what made the difference.
Give me a sense. We're sitting in Dubai. You have the Fashion and Design Council. Who's come in, and what are you trying to do for those who want to grow into the industry, if you will?
Literally, everyone has come in. I think a lot of them out of curiosity, a lot of them out of need. Why I even founded the council was because there was no platform that was helping people to understand this market and help them to do their due diligence. Where would you go? Even the local chambers of commerce weren't providing any kind of information or helpful data. So we've got a lot of great modest designers that understand what a modest consumer wants, and they need to be seen and they need to be explored. And so we help our audience to explore them.
Modest fashion today is the new kid on the block. Brilliant. My name is Rami Al-Malek, and I'm the founder and CEO of Miella. Today what we're looking at is a blend of Western mainstream styles with designs that are more local, if you like. So Muslims is a large fragmented audience. You know, when people think of Muslims, they might think of geography, but in reality you have Muslims in Kazakhstan, in South Africa, in the US, in Asia, and they wear different things and they have a different approach because they're influenced by their own cultures. So we like to work with various designers that can infuse our collections with these sort of nuances in design.
Our theme is going to be Oriental fantasy.
We've been in operation for just over a year and a half. Compared to last year, we've done 125%, year on year sort of growth in terms of revenue. We've established a nice footprint with various e-tailers, so we don't just sell on Miella. We sell in various e-commerce entities, and we're getting into physical retail. We're faith neutral in our approach, and what has happened, which was actually peculiar, is that we've noticed that 30%, if not more, of our consumers are non-Muslim, and they'll be from North America and Europe and so on, because they realize that we're representing something that is very elegant and trendy and modest, and it's affordable. It's a very compelling sort of proposition for them.
$8 billion, that's how much the mobile app sector generated last year. It's an industry that keeps on growing and growing. So-called Muslim or Islamic apps are gaining traction as well. And it's not just here in the Middle East and North Africa, but London too, where we sent our tech correspondent Samuel Burke out to meet the minds behind a halal-friendly matchmaking app.
A Muslim dating app might sound pretty niche to people, but you have a very big market.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Muslim dating, I guess, is the term that everyone kind of thinks of when they see Musmatch or read about it. I think our angle and our particular niche are people who actually are serious about getting married. So that's their long-term objective. So
it's not a hookup app.
No. I mean, for us, anyone who wants to hook up, we kindly say, please go somewhere else.
How does the fact that this is a Muslim app affect the technology? What type of changes do you need to make in the coding to make it all come together?
So I guess privacy and security is our number one focus technically. But beyond that, it's no different. The technical problem we're trying to solve is matching people. So it's not so much the infrastructure or the scale or how many people use our product daily, which is many thousands at this point. It's trying to build an algorithm that actually shows people that you might want to see based on your search filters.
Yeah.
Clearly a British app, but you must have people all around the world. What are your top market?
So we're on about 140,000 people signed up.
140,000 people.
Exactly, and like I said, around the world. So like I said, about half of them are in the UK, just over a third, etc., in the US and Canada, and then we're literally across 120 different countries after that. So we've got a lot of stories of weddings literally around the world, Malaysia, the US, Africa, etc. It's crazy.
Dating isn't the only thing being digitized in the Islamic economy. Food is also meeting its match in apps, especially apps that are catering to the culinary experience. Oh, those look good.
Yeah, I think those are so good.
Thank you. Would you say you're about finding as many halal restaurants as possible, or just trying to find the top quality halal restaurants?
It's absolutely not about finding any old halal restaurant. One of the great things about London and the UK is that really you can find halal pretty much wherever you look, and that's not a problem. It's not about finding halal, it's about finding good quality halal.
It's interesting, you're in places like London and Paris, and you're also in the UAE, but everything's halal in the UAE, and theoretically.
Yeah.
So what's the need there?
The need there is mainly travel. So if I'm coming from the UK, I'm going to the UAE, I've got maybe 3 days there, that's 9 meals. They've got to be good quality. When you can eat any of the burgers, it's, well, which one's the best one? Because I've only got 1 or 2. Well, it depends how you like burgers, but yeah, probably 1 or 2 burgers during 3 days.
So you're kind of the halal TripAdvisor in that way.
Kind of, yeah.
Can everybody agree on what halal is?
Absolutely not.
So it comes down to you.
Kind of. Well, that's the main thing. It comes down to your individual preference. So, for example, if I believe that chicken should be slaughtered in a particular kind of way, and I think that a restaurant that I go to should not serve alcohol, I should have that option.
So let's pick up on that thought and bring in Abdullah Mohammed Alawar here in Dubai. Is it important to have a global standard or moving towards harmonization in your view?
I believe harmonization is key because it really finds the common similarities between the various standards and bring them into one path.
The poverty rates are still very high in the Islamic world, if you will. You make a suggestion that this segment of the market has to be digitally responsible. We have to bring everybody into the economy. What do you mean here?
I believe it's certainly advantageous to enable those who are underserved to become part of the equation. Applications today can help in doing that. Smart apps on the phones, the internet could reach out to those consumers who are able maybe to participate in the whole economic activity and be part of that bigger equation. And doing so will expand the horizons for the Islamic economy.